Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Hope you're all doing well. If you are new to my channel, hello, my name is Georgia and I am British, currently living in Singapore. Obviously, when you've been living in a different country for a few years, it definitely starts to change you as a person. Now, there's definitely some signs that I've been living in Singapore too long. Just things that I do in my everyday life now that I never used to do. It just goes to show that Singapore has really influenced me in certain ways. So I've got a long list, guys. Let's just go ahead and get started. You know you've been living in Singapore too long when you say can and cannot instead of yes and no. When you use an umbrella to shield you from the sun rather than to shield you from the rain. When your winter wardrobe is now non-existent. When you start to call elderly women and men auntie and uncle. When you add la on the end of everything and it just doesn't even really make sense, but it just becomes like common practice to add la on the end of everything. When you sing happy birthday but you start clapping as you sing it. Back in the UK, we do not clap when we sing happy birthday, but in Singapore, happy birthday to you. I don't know why it's become like the normal way to sing happy birthday. When you start thinking in Singlish, this is a real thing and it's scary, but this has happened to me a lot. Not only thinking in Singlish, but texting your friends and family from back home and using Singlish words, and then every time having to quickly explain what that Singlish word meant because it just came out of your head. Like, you didn't even think twice about it, and then you're like, shit, they're not gonna know what that means. When you always take your shoes off outside the front door. This has completely changed my habits. Now I will always take my shoes off before I even go into someone's house. Like, it's just a normal habit. Yes, that does happen back home, but also a lot of the time you can wear shoes in your own home. You know you've been living in Singapore too long when the first thing you look for when you come into a new room is the aircon remote. When you say 1 for 1 instead of 2 for 1. 2 for 1 makes so much more sense, by the way, because you're getting 2 for the price of 1. But 1 for 1 makes it sound like I'm buying one and I'm getting the one that I bought. I know it's 1 plus 1, but to me, 2 for 1 still makes more sense than 1 for 1. Even though now I say 1 for 1. You know you've been living in Singapore too long when you refrigerate everything. I'm talking bananas, condiments, anything that might be sweet. I have to put it straight in the fridge because no doubt if you leave your fruit out overnight, you wake up the next morning and it will already be going rotten. You know you've been living in Singapore too long when the two things you always carry in your bag is an umbrella and sun cream. When toilet squatting has just become the norm and sometimes you choose the squatting toilets over a regular toilet. The subject of toilets, you know you've been living in Singapore too long when doing a number 2 is just not the same without a bum gun. If you don't have a bum gun in sight, you'll probably hold it in. You know you've been living in Singapore too long when you can calculate service plus GST like a pro. You know you've been living in Singapore too long when a spoon and a fork has literally replaced a knife and a fork. When you go to a new country with your British friends and they complain how expensive the alcohol is, but you literally cannot complain because you think that it's so cheap. When seaweed flavour, anything just becomes a normal flavour to you, like cheese and onion, salt and vinegar, ready salted, seaweed. You know you've been living in Singapore too long when you know your preferred payment method between Visa, Nets and PayWave. By the way, why is there so many options? Like, I don't understand why you need to be asked every time. PayWave, Nets, Visa, MasterCard. Let's just keep it as one. You know you've been living in Singapore too long when you eat a cup noodle with chopsticks. You know you've been living in Singapore too long when you know the meaning of at least 10 acronyms. When you prefer to drink hot water instead of cold water. You know you've been living in Singapore too long when you can smell a durian within 5 meters. But also, when the smell of durian doesn't really faze you anymore. If the next train is arriving in any longer than 3 minutes, this is completely unacceptable. Okay guys, I'm gonna stop there. I know there are probably so many more that I've missed out. Leave your comments if you are a foreigner, but also if you're a Singaporean living in Singapore. How do you know if you've been living in Singapore too long? Be sure to give this video a big thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you're new to my channel and you want to see more content from me. Lots more coming up. Thank you guys so much for watching and I'll see you in my next video. Bye guys!